council chambers, so. Jeremy, good?
Yep. Ready when you guys are.
Well, I think 7 o'clock might be off. We have one.
One more minute?
Second.
I did turn it on though, Jeremy, for you. It's up and running, so when you guys want to start, let's go.
So we're gonna run this thing. Try it. I don't mind, it's kind of up to you. Can you do it? Or, I mean, I can go through the agenda if you want, but someone has to open the meeting and call for the vote. Okay. Joe will help you guys. There, you guys will help me.
Sure, yeah. That's good to say. We're pretty relaxed.
Well, you're not getting paid, so. Hard to get fired from a job you're not paid for. I don't know about that.
You get fired back away.
Well, since it's 4 o'clock, let's go ahead and start the meeting for the redevelopment commission. With the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So first on the agenda is approval of the minutes from the meeting of February 2nd. Anybody has any questions or?
I make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second it.
Jack, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So next is resolution 2026-0301.
Yeah, so you have a resolution that is referencing Ori's workforce housing. Part of the Ori document required a resolution from the Warsaw Redevelopment Commission for money spent from the housing component of it. They are looking at doing a couple of different housing projects across the county. The first one being in Claypool. So in order to just kind of satisfy that documentation for that agreement with the state, they had asked me to do a resolution with the Warsaw Redevelopment Commission. And I said, why don't we do a joint resolution with the Warsaw Redevelopment Commission and Claypool Redevelopment Commission that will give them access to parts of those funds that were dedicated for workforce housing. So that's what this resolution does. It dedicates $37,500 to go towards that workforce housing project. The project is being done with KEDCO and will be run through KEDCO through the Housing Resource Hub and Mission Build and Claypool. So we don't necessarily have any money in it per se, outside of the original agreement with Ori was referenced the Warsaw Redevelopment Commission being and overseeing that workforce housing. So that's all we're doing is just a joint resolution with Claypool to approve those funds to be used, and it'll go into the documentation as they submit reports to the state.
Jeremy, just for clarity, two things. Number one, very small, there's a typo,
Yeah.
paragraph 3, which I'm sure everybody saw. And then just a second thing, Housing Resource Hub. Is that the group we worked with several years ago?
Yes.
It was-
Heather, yeah. Club 720.
Yep,
Yeah.
all right. I'm certainly in favor of this.
Yeah, so the 5.5 million that was dedicated as part of Ori to workforce housing was based on probably be more to come, if other communities were to do a housing project under this, Club 720 mission build. But this is the first one being Claypool. I had originally thought we were going to do just one with the county, and then the county would, but this is what they want, so. This is what we-
Are we choosing this project? In other words, I assume there's Union or there's other small communities that are probably developing projects. Is it to where we are allocating for specific projects from the ORI funds, or has that already been done?
Yes and no. So we're not choosing the project. The ORI group would approve that. All we're doing is giving our blessing for them to approve it. So ultimately, it has to be approved by ORI through OrthoWorks. This is just us saying we support the project, but it's still within their ballpark to approve, not us. So this does not necessarily approve that project. It still has to go through ORI and OrthoWorks.
Got it.
But if they were to approve it, the state documentation will have a resolution from us referencing those funds, which is what the original agreement was for.
So this is more of a document of support.
Yes.
Okay.
Would you say this is a releasing of funds that we are not going to use,
Yes.
and we're just choosing where we could, or well, maybe not choosing, but making it available to another worthy project?
I would say making it available because we don't really have any authority over ORI funds. That's the OrthoWorks board. But they wanted this resolution to just document as they submit to the state because the original $5.5 million for workforce housing was under the Warsaw Redevelopment Commission. And in that agreement, it references resolutions for the projects from the Warsaw Redevelopment Commission. I don't know that this is needed, but they felt like it might be the best way to provide that documentation, so I'm okay with doing it, because we're not directly in control of any funds anyhow. And they're not any of our funds.
Yeah, just to be clear, basically the ORI group is essentially allocating the remaining funds to projects they deem legitimate, worthy projects, and then they're sending them here for our review, approval. But the ultimate authority, as far as the allocation of those funds, is not from here, it's from, yeah,
The OrthoWorks board,
yeah, got it.
which oversees all ORI funding. So there's review groups, which I'm a part of, which is where this came from. So we reviewed these projects, approved these projects for recommendation of approval to the OrthoWorks board, but ultimately the OrthoWorks board approves any funding that is spent from ORI, not us, not the group that we sit on and talk about these projects. Ultimately, that all goes to the OrthoWorks board for approval.
Well, I know the work that we did in the past with the housing resource group. Very much, feel very comfortable with them leading this project. I think they're a great group and they understand what needs to be done. And as I mentioned earlier, I think small communities in our county certainly deserve the opportunity
changing anything other than it just authorizes, rather than being specific to the president or vice president, any member of the redevelopment commission can sign at that closing.
And for now, it's primarily for, from a timing standpoint, it's for outlot one.
Yes. Yeah.
And I know it mentions in that, section one, down at the bottom, vice president, or president or vice president and the secretary are authorized to execute. But then at number two, when it talks about lot one, it talks about the officers or members of the commission. Doesn't say that in one, doesn't say we're members of the commission in one, but it says it in two.
Yes. Outlot one is the Marsh building, which has already been closed, so he didn't change that language.
Oh, so it is, you said outlot one, but you meant lot one.
Yes, I meant the lot for
That
scooters,
clears it
yeah.
up. Okay.
Yeah, Marsh has already been closed, it's already been signed. I'll have a conversation with him going forward. I'm not sure that it's required that you be specific who signs, other than it has to be a redevelopment commission member.
Okay.
We've never had this problem in the past, but we've transitioned. I know Randy's retiring, and so I've had some conversations, because the other thing that's been in here a lot is they put in there that someone has to witness, which we've never done at other closings either. So trying to get that removed too, because it's hard enough getting one person, and then we got to get two people to sign. Everything that goes through gets approved by the redevelopment commission as a whole anyhow. So obviously, we don't close or sign anything that hasn't been approved by the entire board. It's not necessary to have every person signing the document, but we'll work on that in the future.
Makes perfect sense, so, if there's any questions?
No questions here. So in fact, I'd make a motion that we approve resolution 2026-0302.
And I'll second that.
First and second, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next will be the proposals for the street state.
Yes, so we have a contract with Marsh to design what will be in the right of way around the Millworks project. I think it's in a total amount of $39,500. There are some alternates that we could choose if needed, but the primary task would be the design, which is at $39,500 total. We entered into an agreement with Millworks. Part of that agreement was that we'd be responsible for the improvements in the right of way around the building. So we are designing that portion, so that it will connect well and tie in well with their property. My goal is to not be bidding that work out. My goal right now is to have them complete that work, and we'll enter into a contract with them to do that. Reason being is, rather than trying to coordinate two different contractors on that site, it just makes more sense that it would be done as one project. That way, when they're pouring concrete, they're not fighting with another contractor trying to get equipment in and out, and vice versa. So right now, that is the intent, but we will complete the design, approve the design, and then submit that to Millworks to complete the work.
You had a number in here, $1 million. Assume that's the budget for that, for the project, completion of the project. Obviously, the design is 39.5, and then it just says proposed project budget is $1 million.
Yeah, they put that in there. I'm not real sure why they did, but yes, our agreement with Millworks was, in the development agreement, I have to go back and look. It references $1 million, but I don't believe that's set completely in stone. negotiation that, they were concerned about making sure that, there wasn't any additional cost to them as part of that right-of-way improvement.
Who's that?
Millworks,
Right.
yeah.
So that was in the original agreement that we were gonna configure this part of the project this way.
Yeah, I think what it says is like, I can't remember if it's a minimum or maximum, but but part of the agreement did have that $1 million for the streetscape in there. That was our responsibility.
Right.
We will try to get as close to that as we can, obviously. If it's less, that's even better.
I guess the only thing I'm just wanna make sure that we're, according to oil and kosher, is that this work doesn't have to be
Bid out.
bid up.
Yep.
And that's because of the way it was written in the original contract.
That is what I'm going to try to do. Yeah,
Okay.
we will make sure we follow the rules as required.
If-
So if we have to bid it out, we will bid it out.
That would be-
But step one is getting the design. The conversation I've had with them is I would prefer them to complete the work rather than us
just
trying to
because of
bid
scheduling.
because of scheduling. We ran, there's pluses and minuses to everything. We've run, you can do it both ways. What I don't wanna have happen is we bid a project out and our contractor shows up when they want to show up, which has happened last year when we did Petro Drive, which happened to be 3 months after the builder wanted them to show up. Then I'm getting phone calls every day,
Right.
where's this at? Why isn't this complete? We're renting buildings and blah. And so I'm trying to avoid that, but we will do what is required for the law. So if it comes down to it and we have to do the work, we will do the work. We'll bid it out and complete the work. But I believe there's a mechanism that will allow us to coordinate that work with them.
Okay. I just wanna make sure I was
Yep, no,
understanding.
we're on the same page.
Okay. Great. Well, this is exciting because I remember having this discussion many years ago that we were gonna have to put some money in the streetscapes. And you were right. You do.
It'll be nice, and obviously, if you haven't been by, I mean, they're out there working.
Very significant.
It's gonna go up quick, and then everybody will be like, wow, when's it done? Because obviously, it's easy to put the structure up, but then there's gonna be a lot of internal work that'll need to be done.
Sure.
We're also working on a piece of the commercial piece, which, I think we'll probably have something to bring to you guys before long. Someone will be occupying that space, so excited about that too.
As far as the streetscape goes, I certainly support getting moving on this, and I understand and appreciate your desire to make it as seamless as possible. So, with the understanding that the bidding rules are followed and
Yep.
don't have any problem that way. With that, I would make a motion to approve this contract. This proposal.
I'll second.
Jack's first, or second, Joe's first. Sorry, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. Next will be approval of claims.
We have a few claims. The first claim is actually just transferring $1 million back into investments. So we're not necessarily spending any money, it's just, the investment matured. We reviewed the current 12 to 18 months of operating for our redevelopment commission and specifically that northern TIF district, and felt like we could reinvest that $1 million for another 12 months. So we're just reinvesting that $11.04 for office supplies. DLZ $28,534 for the airport park design. Baker Tilly $775, that's for marketplace, reviewing the marketplace pay applications, per that agreement. So we have an agreement with Marketplace, that for the first 5 years, they cover any shortfall in the tax. So Baker Tilly reviews those taxes and sends them, that shortfall. $476.50, for ongoing legal services for Mentor Media and AutoCam. $779, legal services for parking lot and AutoCam. GAI Consultants is for our engineering work on County Farm Road sidewalk. A&Z Engineering, $10,285 is for the roundabout at Husky Trail and Turner North. Anderson Bolander, $1,995 is for the Festival Street. Eastern Engineering, $6,358 is for the new printer for our department. Fenton Brown, $36,466.29, I believe that's the last payment for the 300 North reconstruction project. Indiana American Water and NIPSCO, $399.75, $205.05 is for the Marsh Property Utilities. Warsaw Community Development, that's for our Main Street agreement, $6,727.27. American Structure Point, $11,206.59 is for construction inspection on Anchorage Road, which starts construction March 16th. And Anderson's, it's our agreement with the Parks Department, Redevelopment Commission, and I believe maybe Building Planning, to redo the flowers in the downtown planters, and that is for $4,750.
Jeremy, I know I've asked before, and you've told me, and I should remember, but, at what point do the utilities drop off the Marsh building?
Yesterday.
I think
No.
that was the answer I got.
Yeah, I know. We've been working with them, trying to get them transferred over. They did pay for the utilities that we've already paid for, so we've been reimbursed for those. So we haven't paid for utilities, but we need to get this taken care of.
Okay, fair enough.
The new printer was just, it was time, I mean, so when we moved to the third floor, we took the old building and planning, printer that I had bought, 12 years ago. And we made it last for the last 3 years.
We were down to one drawer that worked.
But it got to a point where it was more of a nuisance than it was worth, so we got a new printer. I'm cheap, but when it starts costing me way too much time, then I'm not cheap.
Time is money.
But, I don't know, you spent $11.04 with Quill, that's a little high.
You're really money conscious, okay?
Well, I would move that we accept the claims.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Any other business?
Mayor, I like the new digs, this is very nice, I'm just so curious what the punching bags are for over there.
Just in case you get out of line, we're taking you over there, right?